It seems that sometimes a director can make a movie that everybody loves, and it's kind of like his point of damnation. From that
Mm.
point forward, he can never do anything right again, and people will find a reason to fucking destroy him
Yeah.
or her at any given point in time. They'll just be like, ah, fuck that guy or girl, I guess.
Yeah.
Just
Zack
got to clear
Snyder.
that up before I get sued by someone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man, and I think one of the ultimate examples of this is a guy that broke onto the scene courtesy of one of the big names. Peter Jackson's really who kind of brought him on to the big leagues,
Mm.
and there was a lot of hype behind this fella, and he proved that the hype was worthwhile with his debut feature, which was District 9. It turned out to be a pretty phenomenal success, critically and otherwise, and we loved it. But then after that, it was like, oh, he's doing the same thing again. Oh, there's that, uh, you know, there's earmarks to the director's style, and they just people point that out
Yeah.
and be like, oh,
Yeah.
can't do anything else or whatever.
I call it the Zack Snyder effect.
A variety of reasons have been lobbed at this guy, or for not liking this guy, and I just don't understand the hatred. I don't get it. He's been consistently good. But we're going to talk about Elysium from Neil Blomkamp. What'd you think about this little bastard? First of all, if you're not familiar with this movie, it's about a society that's been segregated per class. And basically the rich and elite and powerful get to live in a paradise
Yeah.
floating around Earth, which has sunk to the bowers of poverty.
Halo.
Yeah,
Someone
and
point that out.
so there's tones, of course, of social criticism here having to do with the chasm between classes, and a lot of stuff about immigration, thrown into the mix, and how important it is for us to not share the wealth necessarily, not in socialistic fashion, but look out for our fellow man if we're capable
Yeah.
of doing it.
Don't be a beehole.
A lot of that stuff thrown into the mix, but all wrapped up in this, bombastic sci-fi bow that Blomkamp is so good at doing. What did you think about this movie off the get-go here?
I was a little worried going in because it was the only one I hadn't seen so far,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like the other two had set the bar too high. But I thoroughly enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I was not disappointed.
Yeah, man, it's hard for me to be disappointed by Blomkamp. In fact, every time I see something, be it a feature film or just these little projects that he does, it just reminds me of how fickle people can be
Mm-hmm.
and how lame Hollywood can be. Throw some money at this fucker. Let
Yeah.
him make stuff, man. But whatever. We'll be lucky to get whatever we get. And so far it's been good. And yeah, I agree with you. Elysium was pretty damn good, man. Now I will say it's of his feature films, it's my third favorite. But like you said, the bar is so high, personally speaking, that if it's on par with them, that's not an insult at all.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. But let's talk about the pros and cons in this. Pro number one for me, Charlton Copley, of course, has to be in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like that touch that you expect now. And he always delivers, and he's fucking awesome. And he's like a crazy ass merc in this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out. I know it's like a nothing to most people, but it's a big for me.
Biggin,
A biggin,
as they call it.
as they call me. But anyway, what's your first pro there?
My first pro is this came out during the height of the exosuit craze and didn't come off cringy at all,
Mm-hmm.
and it was actually kind of cool. So there you go for all the people that were jizzing their pants at exosuits for like 2 seconds. You overlooked this movie, you fools.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Blomkamp always finds a way to deliver these high concepts in a credible way, but that doesn't take away any of the fun of seeing that stuff in action. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's a very heavy social message here, but you can. I would say of the three movies, this is the one that's hardest to ignore the message. It's
Yeah.
very in your face.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I think there's a lot less like uber violence throughout.
Yeah.
So it kind of is a lot harder to ignore it.
Yeah. So, but that being said, the movie still is intense and has a lot of action sequences that allow you to see it just as entertainment, if you should so wish. So I can get why some people might have criticized that particular portion of
Yeah.
it. It is pretty blunt and in your face with a message. That being said, another pro for me would be the message, the social message. Sci-fi film is my favorite type of film, be it whatever type of sci-fi film, and it's usually some dystopic future film. There's always something to be said there, and I think a sci-fi is one of the best vehicles to say something with because it allows us to speculate so much, and then at the same time still have something visually dazzling or action oriented to entertain us. So that's a big pro for me. Hit me with another pro if you got one.
I think the effects are pretty damn great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It's kind of shocking how good his effects are and all the shit he does.
Really impressive.
Like we recently saw that short and it was like, damn, he freaking did this with like $0. So yeah, it's pretty impressive what he can do, or him and his people can do with I'm assuming a low budget. But yeah, along with that, it's part of it. I think the look of the future,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very simple, or not simple, but it's very Blomkampian at this point. I always liked it. Like I liked it in Chappie,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of similarities in this. I do want to say that it's kind of funny how apparently in a shitty future, LA just becomes Mexico. Current day.
I mean,
Yeah.
kinda.
So,
I'm not gonna say that it's full of Mexicans,
yeah.
but it is. Yeah, man. He got accused of portraying certain people certain ways, especially in District 9, and it carried on to films like this. I mean, we're Mexican. We've been around people like that. There's nothing insulting about it. Like Bright from David Ayer got a lot of criticism for portraying monsters that were clearly supposed to be, Mexicans or whatever. I mean, there's people like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes stereotypes exist for a reason. Doesn't mean everybody's that way. It just means, there's sections of humanity. So I was not insulted by that at all. They weren't particularly portrayed as scumbags.
No, not really. I mean, the people were more just seen as, they kind of have to, like the bad people were just kind of like they're just doing what they got to do.
Yeah, really. Yeah, ultimately, one of the crime lords, I guess, for lack of better words, ends up being kind of like a de facto hero in this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and same with Matt Damon, who kind of just starts off as kind of selfishy guy.
Yeah, that was gonna be my pro. So it's good that you brought that up. That Matt Damon's character arc is awesome. Now it's a tried and true character arc.
Yeah.
The reluctant hero it's kind of like if Crank were serious. He's on a time limit and he's really, like you said, very selfishly oriented to resolve certain things. He needs to get to this place because then he's gonna die. And as by default of his journey, he grows, and his selflessness, his self-sacrifice. That's good, man. That's a classic storyline.
Yeah.
And to be delivered in this new way, I mean, that's just a big plus. I mean, who
who
doesn't like that storyline?
Without it being like super corny either. It's just kind of naturally happens.
Mm-hmm. So that was pretty great, man. Hit me with another pro.
I like when that guy gets his face blown off. That was pretty cool. The gore is cool. And there's not a lot of it compared to his other movies.
It's that particular scene. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like you said, the effects are always super top notch, which I guess I'll tie into this. I'm always glad to see big scale sci-fi because it's so rare to see it, and then to see it well done on top of that. Only people, big names like Ridley Scott, can usually get away with huge scale sci-fi. But what's impressive about Blomkamp is he does this huge scale sci-fi, or you get the feeling and impression of a world that's big, but he does it on a fraction of the budget that these bigger players do it on. So it's all the more impressive when the effects look so great and then everything is visually, concrete and like you said, very Blomkampian. You know, you
Yeah.
expect a certain visual flavor from it.
He also does that while kind of grounding his movies
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
like a kind of believable way, I guess.
Yeah,
So it kind of makes the more sci-fi shit better because you can kind of believe it exists in the world.
I agree. I agree. Hit me with another one if you got one.
Um, I can't think of any right now. So
I think my final one will be what I mean. You expect this type of stuff in this movie. It takes kind of a back seat in this one, but when it does come up, don't get me wrong, it's there a lot, but this movie has other intentions in mind, and it's the action, which is fucking awesome.
mm,
Period. And especially that heist sequence when they're trying to
yeah,
heist. Oh wait, just on the side note, another plus here, another pro. Yeah, William Fichtner getting a job
yeah,
is
it's
always a
true.
pro. It's the only pro I can give to the Michael Bay produced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That William Fichtner got a job, so he has a job in this one. So big pro there. But anyway, when they're doing the heist on him, his memory banks, if you will, that entire sequence was fucking awesome, man. It's just really cool, tense sequence, lots of cool visuals, and of course, there's more that happens towards the end of the movie, especially. But yeah, the action's just fucking awesome, dude. I mean, he just Blomkamp's got it all, man. He's the cat that they should be banking on, and they just don't
Yeah,
that often. I want to see his Alien movie,
he should
man.
have done Halo.
Anyway,
He basically did.
hit me with another. Hit me with another con.
Con.
I mean, hit me with a con if you got one, since we ran through all the pros.
I don't think I have one.
I have one con, and I'm kind of reluctant to say it because I love Jodie Foster. P.S. Hashtag dyke that I would fuck.
Dude, I was about to say, you know what? That's another pro for me. It made me go, hey, I would totally bang that.
Oh yeah, man. Jodie Foster's always been hot.
She got calves too.
Oh, yeah.
You notice that?
And old lady Jodie Foster is somehow hotter.
Yeah, wood hump.
But anyway, besides humping her calves, I gotta say that her accent kind of threw me off.
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell it was supposed to be, honestly.
Was it French? Was it English? I don't know what the fuck, but it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was just not good. I was like, okay, that's a thing. I'm hearing.
Yeah, it was weird.
But
I'll agree.
it's a minor, it's a minor thing. Nothing huge. Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of anything
Yeah.
that offended me.
That cute
cinematically speaking.
that cute server bot didn't get more time.
Yeah, we needed more server bot action
He was cute.
where he just serves people.
What if it was
wine.
the Rocky 4 server bot?
Oh God, man! I can't believe people just let that slide.
Yeah.
A fucking robot server in Rocky movie. Fuck. Anyway, final thoughts on this movie and final score on a scale of 1 to 10. Hit me with it.
It was pretty great. I will agree with you in that I think it is my third favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say it's stinky or anything less than the others. It's just that's where it falls. It's pretty damn cool. I really liked pretty much everything in it. I can't think of any negatives, so I'll give it a. I mean, I just said I can't think of any negatives. I'll give it a 9.5 though. I don't want to give it a perfect score, so I'll give it a 9.5.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, man. Great film. What I expect from Blomkamp. Can't wait to see more. I can't complain. There's nothing to complain about except for that accent, man. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm kind of loath to say that we didn't say anything about Matt Damon, who's the star of it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of because he's kind of a glum character, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying he's kind of like a tragic character.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, nothing went good for this guy.
He's just kind of trying to be a good guy, and then he gets screwed up. And
Yeah,
then,
and that's I think a lot of people might have found that unappealing. That this movie, it's hard to swallow something that's not exactly painting roses on everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not upbeat. It's it's saying something, and whether we like that or not, that's kind of how society is. Maybe this is taking it to a bigger extreme, but that's to make a point. But I like that shit, so I can't bitch about that at all. I really like this movie. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I love it, man. It's awesome, awesome movie. Tell us what you think about this flick. Are you one of the people that loathed it? If so, let us know why. If you loved it, let us know why as well. Hit like, share, subscribe, those notification buttons because we're out.